to Creative Arts 2 tutorial. This is my process video for our art installation, and this is it. It is 1000 paper cranes. Enjoy! Bye!
Piers and I were inspired by Sadako's 1000 paper cranes. This is a true story about a girl who lived in Hiroshima, Japan. Her dream was to become a professional runner, but was diagnosed with leukemia. She heard a story that if you make 1000 paper cranes, the gods will heal you. After hearing this, Sadako was determined to make 1000 paper cranes, however only made 644 before sadly passing. Despite her death, Sadako still lives in people's hearts across the world. The strong determination of Sadako intertwines with our art installation, as we believe this theme explores several topics to be explored within primary classrooms. As can be seen on our mind map, examples of finding inner peace, determination, exploring wars and different cultures can enable students to comprehend the underlying significance of Sadako. It gives students a sense of hope from within and to allow Sadako's legacy to live on. Here is our collaborative art installation. We have made 1000 paper cranes to commemorate Sadako so her legacy can live on. We intentionally chose to make it bright and vibrant so it can appeal to all students and staff. We have also created 70 or so white paper cranes which are intended for students who are familiar with Sadako's story to be inspired and leave a heartfelt message, and place them at the bottom of the spiral of the paper cranes. Over the period of a week, I have been monitoring the progress of the white paper cranes, and we can see that students have in fact been contributing by leaving notes of peace, determination and love. What this means is that while our art installation was created for our own purpose to explore key arts and curriculum areas, it has now become an interactive installation welcoming students to become familiar with Sadako and 1000 paper cranes, or even just to write or read a message of peace. Williams 2004 highlights that today the concept of literacy has ceased to be narrowly defined. What this means is that literacy is now a fluid concept determined by cultural context. Alverman and Hagood 2000 also state it's critical that students gain an understanding of print and non-print texts in relationship to themselves as readers and viewers within different social, cultural and historical contexts in order to reach optimal student success. One way English can be embedded solely is to review the text of Sadako and the 1000 paper cranes. Students, accordingly with the Australian curriculum, can examine and respond to literature. With reference to Okara 2015, students identify aspects of literary texts that convey details or information about particular social, cultural and historical contexts. Reference Assault 1608. This would be ideal for a grade 5-6 setting. While students are engaging in an English literacy task, it is progressively preparing students for the underlying social, cultural and historical contexts within Sadako's journey. I have found that English and visual arts rely heavily on each other. One way to achieve the implementation of both curriculums is to carry out the process of writing a procedural text. Zanden and Walwyn 2011 suggest that a procedural text provides instructions on how to complete something. The aim of a procedural text is to learn how to fold the paper cranes. In knowing the background story of Sadako now, students are emotionally invested to complete 1000 paper cranes to let her legacy live on. The English component is to carry out the procedural writing of how to complete a paper crane, and the visual arts aspect is actually carrying out this process in creating the paper cranes. Researchers Englert, Zayo, Dunsmore, Collins and Wahlberg's 2007 acknowledge the diversity of students' learning needs within a classroom. That said, they highlight that writing is a challenging process and students with learning disabilities face serious writing challenges, which unfortunately affects their school performance. In doing something about this problem, Anderson, Quinn and Horney, 1996, created a computer program similar to Inspiration. It improves text comprehension and study strategies of students with learning disabilities. This program allows students to organise their ideas into a number of possible structural arrangements, such as a compare-contrast table, explanations, flowchart, and so on. The software extends writers' capabilities by offering mapping tools that support students as they organise their ideas. It also helps students stage their ideas and develop a structure for their writing. That said, incorporating technology to students with learning disabilities is vital for student success and cognitive understanding of the underlying meaning of Sadako's 1000 Paper Cranes. The work of Bronfenbrenner and the discovery of the exosystem intertwines with this in that the exosystem is a circle of services and support networks which are available to the child. Without the support network of the school community, students with learning disabilities would not be offered this software program to assist with literacy and comprehension development. Furthermore, another area where technology can be successfully incorporated to all students within the classroom is to carry out a stop-motion video. A stop-motion video is an animation technique whereby the photographer takes countless individual photograph frames, creating the illusion of movement when the series of frames is played as a continuous sequence. Students can take photographs of themselves making their paper cranes step by step and then format this onto the computer to create a video. This would be targeted at a 5 years 6 level, as said earlier, and working collaboratively would be ideal. Relating this to the theory of Vygotsky, Vygotsky did not see the child as a solitary discoverer of knowledge, but rather to emphasize the importance in interactions which involve communication. He then related this to the importance and the role of language in the development of thinking processes. Therefore, the importance in this lies with collaboration, and this task can be created within pairs or groups. More importantly, once the video has been uploaded to the computer and editing is to occur, this will allow for a diverse of thinking processes which emphasizes students' language development and one's own cognitive development. The work of Erickson also interrelates with this art installation for the reason in exposing students to Sadako and the 1000 Paper Cranes. It opens up a large amount of emotions for students to explore. And that said, students' emotional and psychological development will vary when discussing this topic. However, it allows students to position themselves in Sadako's shoes, and this allows them to connect with the text on a deeper level. Further cultural needs need to be examined for Indigenous students. For effective teaching to be successful, teachers must understand the socio-cultural education journey of Indigenous students. Failure to understand this can have a profound impact on their motivation and participation. We can adopt a modern constructivist inquiry-based pedagogy which aids a more passive view of teaching. Teacher-centered instruction is not an effective form of learning for Indigenous students. Tasks such as creating paper cranes where students are actively immersed within the lesson allows for participation and learning from Indigenous students. Also, incorporating technology assists Indigenous students in communicating, acquiring knowledge, and managing external knowledge better. Creating paper cranes and the stop-motion videos, this shifts from a more teacher-directed lesson to a student-directed lesson, where students are the creators of their own learning. In order to incorporate music into our art installation, we placed a tablet behind our poem, and as students and staff walked by, they could hear our Zen music playing. I will now play the music which was playing in the Angora, followed by images of our process in creating this.